she did them, and I was aware she did them, and I just didn't know how to stop her from doing perks, and I kept warning her about fentanyl because I have a lot of friends that lost their kids. So I'm part of that club now. And I used to beg her, and tell her, please stop taking them. You don't know what's in them. In my daughter's case, she didn't OD. For people that don't know the story, she was murdered by fentanyl. This is a picture of my daughter for the people who never seen her.
And I can't say it enough times. Do not accept anything from anyone you don't know. And even if you do know them, don't accept it unless you know what it is and where it's come from. And
I would say at my worst, I was probably taking between 30, 35, sometimes maybe 40 a day.
If anything, the way I look at it is like Sopranos saved me. When I would think like, man, what are you doing to yourself? It would be a lot easier for me to go like, stop doing this. Look at what your life could be, instead of what a lot of my friends were dealing with. And, I think it's 5 of my friends who I brought to the premieres of The Sopranos are dead now.
I had my own battle with addiction as well. The Vicodin and Percocet, that was the thing. Never, I didn't do heroin, or it wasn't coke or anything else. It was Vicodin and Percocet.
By 2005, I was a full-blown heroin addict and a crack cocaine addict.
And even people with the worst kind of mental illness have a chance if they have the capacity to be honest with themselves. The reality is we've been lying to ourselves with every drink we put in our mouth, or every puff we take, or every pill that we pop, or whatever we're doing. And then we wonder why people get pissed off at us, but we don't see that it's what we're doing. It's not my mother, my father, my brother, my uncle, my sister. No, it's me too.
The consequences are too severe for me. The damage I've done to my health, it's a fucking miracle. Nothing short of a miracle that I am still alive. So, if I can do it, any of you can do it.
When people suffer from alcoholism or drug addiction, there must come a moment when your life totally crashes. For me, that moment came when the pain was too great and the consequences were too profound. Only then did I decide to change. Recovery and sobriety is all about change, and for me, it started when I woke up in a grimy hotel room in a shitty little town in Pennsylvania. And so, if you want a new life and start a new journey of a lifetime, you've come to the right place. You want to drink? That's your business. You want to stop drinking? That's our business. Welcome to Recovery Tube.
Hey guys, we're back. 3rd show of the day, but this is addiction and recovery only, as you guys know. I feel like there's probably a lot to talk about today, considering, 5 years clean and sober today. A milestone I never thought I would hit. Never. And I'm very happy that I'm still here and I have my sobriety and a very good life, a life that I never imagined that I would have, especially during my darkest days. It trips me out every time I think about it, like I said in the intro, it's a fucking miracle that I'm still here, but to be doing as well as I'm doing, I don't even know what you'd call it. I guess at the very least, it would be a miracle. So I'm going to talk about all that stuff, and I'll talk to you guys, and you'll talk to me, and we could talk about your situations or issues, and how we do on addiction and recovery shows. Let me do some shout outs. Sally, Miss Can't Be Wrong, Ronan456, Tom Sheehy, Michael Hensley, Ranger Fan 11, Sven Larson, Sam the Man, and I think that's it. Yes, Marianne Reynolds, Ronan, is Tommy's mother. Yes. That's Tommy Reynolds' mom. I've been speaking with her back and forth here and there, and she really is, a sweetheart of a person. She is. I feel for her. Michael Hensley, we love you too. Chris Capello, what's up, bro? So, I don't know how you guys want to get started. I mean, I could definitely tell you what's on my mind. I kind of talked about it a little bit on my first show today, but let me just say this. Yesterday, I spent all day thinking about the fact that 5 years ago yesterday, I woke up, as Don described it, in a shitty hotel in a shitty little town in Pennsylvania. And my life was a fucking disaster. A disaster. I had family that wasn't speaking to me. I was lonely as a motherfucker. I was committing probably about 500 felonies a day. I was selling coke. I was selling crack. I was drinking like crazy. I was doing coke, and I was on a suicide mission. I truly wanted to die. That was my plan. I would take those pills every night and I would wish. I'm not one who prays. I would just wish that I didn't wake up. That was my goal. Every night. Every night. Well, at least the nights that I wasn't working. On those nights, I did a bump here and there during my shift, but, and no alcohol for the most part. But on those nights at that hotel, especially when I was on a days-long binge, that was my goal. I wanted to die. And when I woke up that day, the confusion alone, I got this girl here. I don't know where she came from. She's telling me about all types of things that went on. Friends were in and out of the fucking room. All types of stuff was happening. I was sick. I was sick as fuck. I was. And I wanted to die that day too. But I decided to live. So I got myself some help. I wound up in that amazing rehab. I met my beautiful wife, and I made some friends that I hope are lifelong friends. And I was able to turn my life around. I still have friends who are in the streets. All my friends are in the streets pretty much. They're still outside like that, but I don't have any part of that world. I'm not in that world anymore. I talk to my friends. I hang out with them, whatever. Some of them I don't see as much as others, whatever, but I left that lifestyle behind, and I left the drugs behind in general, and yesterday, 5 years after that day, I woke up in that shithole. I woke up in an entirely different situation. And I'm not going to get into, what I was doing or where I was or anything else, but I'll just tell you that it is nothing short of a dream come true, especially considering where I was and comparing it to that. And the only reason I was able to wake up yesterday in that wonderful, beautiful predicament is because 5 years before I decided to clean myself up and start my life over, what was left of it. And I've done pretty fucking well, but there's certain things that are still broken that I don't think are ever going to be fixed. And I deal with that every day too. You could ask Shanna, you could ask people who just know me very, very well. I'm an open person. I don't hide a lot of shit. I don't hide anything. You know what I mean? I'm not scared to talk about my personal life, my personal business. I'm not somebody who lets shame or embarrassment or anything else stop me from saying what I want to say or talking to people about things or venting or anything else. So people that know me real well, even people that have gotten to know me really well from MobTube here will tell you that I have days, every day, every day, at some point in the day, I think about some of that broken stuff that I can't seem to fix no matter how hard I try. And I go into a very, very dark place. Luckily, I'm always able to pull myself out of it, you know? But I got a lot of regrets and shit I got to live with, you know? You're always going to have that. But it's like I said on my show earlier, you know? If I would have died in that hotel, it would have been a horrible tragedy, you know, because not because my life was worth a whole lot. My life is worth a hell of a lot more now, but because that's how I would have been remembered. I would have died from some sort of drug overdose or alcohol poisoning or a mixture of the two, or, you know, I probably would have just died in my fucking sleep from the benzos and the alcohol and the coke, the whole mixture. And that's how that would have been it. That's what my death would have been. And the people that were seeing me around that time, the people whose lives I was in, they would remember me for how I was during that time period. You know, if I died tomorrow, I could die happy. Let's just say that, you know, because I'll know that I did my best to fix everything that I broke, even though I haven't been able to fix it all. I did my best. And at the very least, I turned my life around for all to see. For all to see. There's nobody in my life from my friends and stuff I don't talk to, but as far as my family, there's nobody in my life that hasn't seen the changes I've made. You know? And many of my friends too, just not all of them. I left a lot of people in the past. So it wouldn't be as sad, in my opinion, even though I got a lot more to live for now and a lot of people depend on me. That's just the way I see it, you know? So I'm extremely grateful. I heard Michael J. Fox the other night, this great quote from him. He said, optimism. Let me try this again. With gratitude, optimism is sustainable. So fucking true. Imagine Michael J. Fox saying that. Look at how bad a shape he's in. He's you know, so sick. And he said that. Just imagine some of our problems. In the grand scheme of things, they're not. I mean, our problems, everything's relative. They're problems to us, but we don't. We usually don't sit back and think about what could be happening, how much worse it could be. I'll give you an example. My best friend is battling a very rare form of cancer right now. A lot of people would tell you it's an unwinnable battle. Okay. And 2 people in my family have lung cancer. Okay. And they're not doing well. So on my last show, a little while ago, I told you guys that pretty sure Shanna just lost her job today. Okay. It's a weird situation going on, but it appears that way. Okay. Even while I was doing the show, and you heard me say to Miss Can't Be Wrong, in comparison to other things that are happening, this is no big deal. Well, what I meant by that is even while I was talking about her losing her job and all this stuff, I'm thinking in my mind, God forbid, one of us just got diagnosed with lung cancer too. God forbid one of us was dying. It's a hell of a lot worse than losing a job, right? So as bad as it is for someone to lose their job, you could always get another one. Might be hard, might take you forever. You might lose everything in the process. But when you compare it to things other people are going through, and you think about the fact that you could be going through those things instead of what you're currently going through, like in other words, if somebody were to ask you, if somebody came to you with terminal cancer and said, "Oh, you lost your job today? I still have a job. I'm dying, but I still have a job. You want to trade places with me?" What would you say? You know what I mean? Or even take the job thing out of it. Just think about. I'll give you an example. My friend Jake died of lung cancer in 2000. I'm going to say 2013. Okay, 2014. I was going to see him a lot when he was in the hospital and stuff. And while he was battling his cancer, it had to be, there you go. It had to be 2014. Because while he was battling his cancer, I almost died, got rushed to the hospital, and was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. They did the echocardiograms and shit, and it turned out I had about 10% of my heart function. Horrible, right? Tragic. Unbelievably sad. And, the good chance that I wasn't going to be around long. I could drop fucking dead at any moment. They told me that. But once I was able to get back to the point where I could walk and stuff, even though I was using a cane and shit, I started to go see Jake again. And I went to see him in the hospital one day. And his two little girls were laying in the hospital bed with him. And he was in and out. But when he was, able to talk, he expressed his concern about me. He knew I was in the hospital and he was worried about me. And as bad as my situation was, even in that very moment, I thought to myself, this guy would trade places with me in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Because at least I have a chance. He had no chance. He was on his way to hospice. So this is what you got to do sometimes. In order to practice gratitude, is you have to think about how much worse things can be. Like, okay, Shanna lost her job, right? I still make a living. We have a little bit of money saved to get us through until she's back on her feet with a new job and stuff, right? But that can all, it can all be repaired. That's something that can be fixed. You know what I mean? Shannon can get a new job. We'll get back on our feet. We'll be right where we were up until about an hour and a half ago. You know what I mean? And there will come a day where we won't even remember that happening. It's just a speed bump in the road of life. But God forbid I would have found out today that Shanna's sick. That's tragic. That's that something like that makes losing a job, it just pales in comparison. It's not even comparable. So that's how I look at my heart situation. Listen, every time I go to the doctor, they make sure to remind me that no matter how good I'm doing right now, how good I'm feeling, how good my echoes look, I could go downhill like that and be on a heart transplant in days, a heart transplant list. I'm sorry, in days, which, even my doctors have said there's no way I'd ever be able to get a heart transplant. I'm a smoker. I got a whole lot of, strikes against me. And to be quite honest, I looked into it, and before they even do it, they need to know that you have the money to be able to pay for the medications and all that after the procedure. So you're talking about you damn near have to be a fucking millionaire. Okay. So Basically, what they're telling me is I could drop fucking dead just like that. I could be great today, gone tomorrow. You know, even as bad as that is, you can ask Shanna, I never complain. I don't complain. You'll never hear me sit here and whine about my heart condition. Me and Shanna were at Cam's house a few weeks ago, and we were talking to him about, his results and, most recent results and everything that's going on. And when we left, Shanna said, he's like you. I said, what do you mean he's like me? She said, if you weren't talking to him about it, specifically, you wouldn't even know there's anything wrong with him. He's up, he's moving around, he's energetic, he's, even when he feels bad and he's exhausted, he manages to keep himself going, and he's busy and he's living life and he's with his kids and he's with his wife and he's, still seeing his friends and living life like as if the cancer doesn't even exist. That's strength. That's a tough guy. And that's what she said. She said, you're just like him. You guys, you don't even let it bother you. It's like, for what? That's not the way you want to spend whatever time you have left, and it could always be worse. Even if somebody is dying of something, they might tell you, well, hey, at least I had this time. I could have died 3 months ago, and look at everything I wouldn't have gotten to do. There's a million different ways to be grateful and a million different things to be grateful for. You just have to take the time to look around and think about it. Even if life is great, never forget to be grateful. When you get in your car, go for a drive. Be grateful you have a car. Be grateful you have a license. Be grateful you have the physical ability to drive the car. When you wake up in your house, I know it's impossible to do. To remember it all the time, but at least from time to time, take a second to think about homeless people. And I'm not talking about Tony Pizza. I'm talking about real homeless people and what they go through every day. And if your health is bad, just think about how worse it could be, how much worse. And if you keep that mindset, you'll be able to get through damn near anything. So when I heard Michael J. Fox say that, I said, wow. With gratitude, optimism is sustainable. It's true. You can remain optimistic if you remain grateful. So, there's a little speech for your ass. See what I just tried to do? Yeah, that's what I did. Sorry. No, I agree, Jane. That's why I said, I honestly, if I could go back, I wouldn't have even mentioned it. You know what I mean? But it's when something's on my mind that I'm doing a show, you're going to hear about it. But that's most likely the last you'll hear about it. This show will probably be the last, we'll figure it out. I think you're 100% right. I think it won't be. I mean, will the pay be the same? I don't know about that, but we'll figure it out. Let's see here. All right. It was a good place to start. My friend was diagnosed a few weeks ago out of nowhere with congestive heart failure. The next thing you know, triple bypass 2 days ago, blocked 175. Jesus, I'm sorry to hear that, Muzz. I really am. It's terrible. It's terrible. And a lot of people, like your friend, have it worse than I do. A lot of people, most people with congestive heart failure probably have it worse than I do. That's a shame, Muzz. I'm sorry you have to go through that. I'm sorry your friend's going through that. Ma, it's been a tough few days. I want to go see her, but I can't right now. Life is short. Well, I'll tell you this, Muzz. Every opportunity you get to go see her, please go do it, because you don't ever want to live with that regret, just in case. Don Berlin, I know for myself that every day is a miracle, as I should have been dead 34 years ago when I crashed into recovery via my car windshield and almost died on the side of a road, talking gratitude. Yes. And I know that, from speaking to Don, he's absolutely grateful for every day, because he should have been dead 34 years ago, and I should have been dead at least 12 years ago. And a lot of us shouldn't still be here fucking breathing. And listen, that's not always a good thing. I know what you're thinking. That sounds crazy. It's not. Some people's lives are pure fucking misery. And some people want to die, and they use their addiction to do it because their lives are pure misery. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and bullshit and say that because you get clean, that's it. You find happiness and everything comes together for you. It might not. But what I can guarantee you is that if you don't get clean, you'll never find out. And as long as you keep using, it definitely won't get better, your situation. There's no question about it. It won't. It might not if you do get clean, but it definitely won't if you don't. That's the best way I could put it. You never know until you fucking try and find out. And listen, I'm living fucking proof of it. Okay? I'll admit, even my rock bottom was better than most. A lot of people have been in much worse situations than I was. Okay? But I was in a pretty bad situation. I can't tell you guys everything. I can't tell you about certain specifics, things that were going on in my life that got me to the point where I was taking those bags full of pills every night and shit. I can't, unfortunately. I wish I could. Those days are over. But trust me, it was bad. It was pure misery. Pure misery. At that point, drugs and alcohol were pretty much all I had to live for. You know what I mean? And I didn't love those substances that much. But who would have ever thought, just get your ass to rehab and go from there, see what happens? For all I would have known, I could have gotten a rehab, checked out 2 hours later, and went and put a gun in my fucking mouth. Who knows? But I needed to find out. And look what happened. I wind up at this place filled with millionaires who all take to me, start treating me like a family member of theirs. I make amazing fucking friends. We're all there helping each other and talking to each other and looking out for each other. I get this amazing experience in this beautiful place, a place that a guy like me would never end up in under any circumstances. Total freak accident that I wound up there at that facility. And I meet a nurse. And that's it. Meeting her changed my entire life for the better, to the point where my life today is an absolute dream come true for me. A lot of people, they might look at my life and to them, this might be rock bottom. Well, I'm living now. But listen, I'm not like that. I don't come from much. You know what I mean? So this right here, if nothing ever gets better from today on, I'm still living a dream. Everything changed. I met Shanna. I get out of rehab. I go to live with my brother for a while. I stayed with him for 9 months, whatever. But during that time, me and Shanna started to date, started to travel together, really have fun. I started coming to this house. Took me a very long time, 6 months before I ever even visited here. And I went to work fixing up the place for her, painting it, putting floor in, painting damn near every room in the house, putting the new floors in, everything I could to help her, making sure the fridge was full, cooking for her and Braden a lot of nights, doing all this stuff, leading up to the point where I finally moved in here, and then we wound up getting married. So I stayed busy. I had Shanna. I was happy. I had this new person in my life, and I had things going on. I was still working. I still worked at least 5 12-hour shifts a week at the time. You know what I mean? And when I wasn't working, I was either spending time with her, or I was here fixing up this house. And that's it. I'm in a new town, not far from my old one, but far enough that I could at least not be involved in everyday activities anymore. I'm not on the streets. I'm not in the streets. So, and look, since then, look, I lost a job that I was at for 4 years because of COVID. The job shut down, and I had to work. Even with unemployment and shit, I wanted to work, so I went and got another job. Worked there for 10 months, and about 9 months into that job, I started this channel and figured out I could make a living this way. And look at all the good things that have happened since. I'm telling you all this for the 1,000th time because I'm trying to convince you that no matter how bad your situation is, unless you've completely destroyed your health, unless you've completely alienated everybody in your life from you, unless you've just literally gone past the point of no return, you have a chance of making it all better. And honestly, even if you did go that far, maybe there's a way you could at least make some of it better. Even if you got fucking 3 months to live, you could live 3 quality months. It's possible to fix everything. It is. If you get clean and sober. There's no question about it. I'm living proof of it. So you got to try. You got to try. As far as like relapsing even, there's times I told you I would love to just take a nice cold mixed drink and shove it right down my fucking throat so fast. You know what I mean? Like my fucking head would spin. I'd love to. But I ain't losing what I got. Oh, no. I have a fucking wonderful life. Wonderful. I ain't fucking that up. No way. And I don't want to start over. If you relapse, no big deal. Start over, pick up where you left off, whatever you want to do. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to start over. I have 5 years today. I don't want to go back to 0 at any point. Does that mean that I believe I'm going to be clean and sober to the day I die? Yes, I believe that. Do I know that? No, but I believe it. And that's my goal. It's amazing the shit you can accomplish. Just when you think you've lost it all. The shit you can get back and the problems you can solve and the situations you can fix. Terrible situations that you thought were unfixable. It can happen. There's no question about it. But it's not guaranteed. What is guaranteed is if you don't get help and you don't stop using, you will die sick, miserable, and most likely lonely. Because I don't know any fucking buddy that's truly happy in their addiction. I have yet to meet a person who's severely addicted to anything and is completely thrilled with their lives. To the point where no matter how addicted you are to anything, there's going to be times when you're sober throughout that addiction. You don't want to be, but you're going to be. I guarantee you during those sober times, nobody who's severely addicted to anything is happy to be where they are. No. There's nothing to be happy about. It's fucking miserable. It's miserable. You are a slave to a substance. You can't eat without it. You can't sleep without it. You can't be comfortable without it. You can't socialize without it. It's a fucking nightmare that I never want to return to, ever. I think you thought she said county or something. She said country, Ronan 456. I still, every time I think about it, I've been taking notes because I feel so helpless. Yeah, I understand. It's a horrible thing. My friend lives with de novo breast cancer, diagnosed at stage 4. I don't know what de novo, I don't know what that word is, before breast cancer, what that means, but diagnosed at stage 4 in her 5-year cancerversary a little while back. 22% lived that long. She lives. Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know. Let me see. Let me go on with your other comments. She lives he works a bit as her youngest and met her first grandchild. She's Superwoman. Oh, gotcha. No, listen, that's great. Because even if you're facing something terminal, look at the experiences she got to have. So even that you got to be grateful for. As shitty as it feels, being grateful for a terrible situation. You got to be grateful for the fact that it's not worse. You just have to be. You have to be. But yeah, your friend sounds like Superwoman. That's awesome. Anything is possible if you try to stay clean and sober, and everything becomes impossible after the first drink. Sad, but true reality. Yes, very well said. She didn't even know she had a heart problem. She woke up and is recovering. I want so bad, but I can't afford the gas right now over the border and costs, etc. But I'm going to try and find a way. Yeah, it's a very important thing. Nobody can judge who has it worse. That's not a thing. Rock bottom to one is easy for another. Yes. Is that right, Muzz? Oh, well. Don Berlin, in the many hours we have spent on the phone together over or during messaging when deployed over the past years, it's our journey together that has been incredible. What an adventure. An adventure. You ain't kidding, Don. You are not kidding. We've had a lot to talk about over the years. A lot. I'm very grateful for your friendship, brother. What, you talking about the job situation? I'm not sure. They aren't happy in their addiction. It's the devil, Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's exactly what it is. It's misery. I used to sit, and I'm not just talking about the time in the hotel, any time that I was severely addicted to alcohol or alcohol and cocaine, I would, no matter how isolated you are, you see the world going on around you. And you see your friends and family members get up every day, go to work, or just go do whatever it is they do. You see them spending time with their kids and, parents and siblings and every fucking thing else. You see them travel. You see them buy things. You see them build homes and lives together and all types of stuff. And you are standing fucking still. And you can't seem to get out of your own fucking way. I used to sit in that room and think to myself, Jesus, what if I just had somebody right now? Like if I had a girlfriend, a wife, I wouldn't want to be doing this. I'd fucking want to be at the movies or on a trip somewhere or, taking a walk in a fucking park, doing something. I wouldn't want to be here. I mean, guys, in 99, when me and my mom and my brother went to Orlando, okay, and met other family, my aunt and my cousins from Bensonhurst, and everybody was doing things. They were getting together every day You know, my mom and brother and, you know, my aunt and my cousins, every day they would get up early, bright and early, and they would go to Disney World. And they would, you know, take pictures and make videos, and they would have the time of their lives. And I was in a hotel for 2 fucking weeks, drinking myself to death and trying to eat a fucking donut. Oh, yeah. For 2 weeks, I didn't eat shit. I had no taste buds, none whatsoever. When you're an alcoholic like that, you just don't. And let me tell you something. When you truly can't taste something, I mean, truly can't taste it, there's not a sliver of flavor, you can't eat it. It's impossible. Your body won't let you swallow it. I know, because I've been there. It took me an entire day to get a fucking donut down, and I don't even think I ate the whole thing. And one day they talked me into going to Disney with them. Now, I had never been there before. So I had a flask. I was 19. I filled up the flask with vodka. It was like where we were staying was like, I was like an hour to get to the fucking park or whatever. We got to the fucking park. We make it in. I don't even remember which park it was. And we're standing on line for something. And I was already going through withdrawal. And within the next 30 minutes or so, I killed that flask, which I was underage and I'm in fucking Disney. I had to go sneak behind walls and shit and fucking guzzle that what was in that flask. And that was it. As soon as that flask was empty, I went into complete and total panic mode. And I had my mom drive me an hour back to the fucking hotel so I could get to my vodka. Meanwhile, they were having the time of their lives. And I had to miss it all because of my fucking sick addiction. So it's miserable. It's miserable. It's so hard to talk people into going and getting help. But I feel like if you could play them a movie of my life or one of your lives or, you know, things we've gone through, and not just through the addiction, but the outcome after we've gone into treatment and gotten better. If you could play them a movie showing them everything you went through your addiction and what your life is like now that you went and got help, I think it would make a huge difference. You know, I really do. Because you can't convince an addict that life can be better without their drugs of choice. That fear of the unknown. You haven't been clean in so fucking long. That fear of not knowing what the fuck you're even going to do with yourself or how you're going to get clean and sober and how you'll stay that way. It keeps people using. It does. And it's a shame because so many good lives have been lost. So much wasted talent. So many special people. People who had loved ones, parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, you know, nieces, nephews, kids, whatever, you know, they may have had in their lives, you know. That person is a loss to them. It's a shame. It's a selfish thing, addiction, you know, because you think, oh, why is everybody fucking with me for? I'm just hurting myself. No, you're hurting all of them. You're hurting them bad. You're making them suffer. And they are suffering along with you. It's a very sad thing. Sobriety removes the chaos from your life. Things make more sense. Yeah, you got that right. You got that right. And even though most addicts are addicted to chaos, I know I am, even to this very day. At least you could choose your chaos. You know, I choose to come on MobTube and fight with assholes and make a living doing it that way. That's my chaos. You know, it's a hell of a lot better than my old chaos. And I get to make the choice. Do I want to continue with it? Or do I want to go find myself some new chaos? You know, really? Vinny, congrats to you. When I was deployed, our main hero was the mailman because he or she brought us news from home, packages of hope, gifts from friends, and loved Notes from loved ones. So thanks. Where is Vinny? I don't even see Vinny in the chat. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Don. Barry Silvers, congrats on 5 years. Yeah, I found I couldn't run in my old circles without using or boozing. That cocaine tends to just jump in your nose. I had to move into a new state and start over. Yeah, people, places, things, man. My voice is getting fucked up from this goddamn COVID. Yeah, you have to sometimes. You have to. Luckily for me, I didn't have to get that far away, and I still can be around a lot of my friends. Even the ones who are still selling drugs every day, the same drugs I was addicted to. And I could still be in my city, but I don't want to live there. That wouldn't be a good idea. And I don't want to have even 1 foot in the streets. I'll stay right here in suburbia with my little family. Nah, bro, I won't allow myself to, Tom Sheehy. You won't either. Simply put, I look at using drugs and alcohol as a handicap. No thanks, a clear head prevails. You'd be correct. You'd be correct. Look at methylene blue or... Oh, no. Yeah, I got to be careful putting that up on the screen, DL, because I don't know if there's anything wrong with what you're saying, they'll call it medical misinformation or something. So if my memory serves me correctly, I had a good friend that overdosed and had a seizure and lost his taste of smell and taste due to the incident. Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. Addicts and alcoholics are talented people full of wasted potential, in my humble opinion. Many of them are. Jason Mikesell, my brother, what's up? Good to see you, man. I relapsed on coke a few times last year. Once this year in February. Been good since then, but I'm not content. I need at least 2 years away from the shit to call myself clean and sober. Well, listen, that's up to you, of course. You only you can decide for yourself. But if you're not using, you're clean and sober. That's as simple as that. You are. So even if you got 2 fucking days, 1 day without using, you should be proud of yourself. And that's how it starts anyway. But I'm going to straighten you out, Jason. You wait. I'm going to figure out how to get you to your 5 years. I'm going to. Thank you, Todd Father. Good to see you, by the way. Please send me a pizza. Todd Father is an amazing cook. I used to, my mouth would water when he would send me pictures of his creations. Wanted to jump through the fucking phone and just eat everything. Oh, and I'm glad you remember, Todd Father. I didn't even realize that. Thank you for your continued support, bro. He's been here since the very beginning. No, I understand. And you have every right to feel that way. Every 3 to 6 months, I fuck up and go on a run, shaking my head. But you don't stay on one. And that's good. That's all a part of it, man. Relapsing is a part of it. As long as you don't stay using, as long as you don't wake up the day after and use then and the day after that and use then and the day after that, then I think you'll be okay. Please straighten me out, bro. I'm going to, Jason. I'm going to straighten you out. I'm going to fix you. Don Berlin, Jason, my friend, an old trainer told me once, remember, it's the courage of the we as opposed to the strength of the I. Same here is recovery. We are stronger in numbers than alone. I like that, Don. I never heard that before. It's true. Miss Can't Be Wrong didn't yell at me yet, but let me put this up anyway before she does. There you go. Thank you, Paul Atkinson. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, FBS, I put myself into a 28-day last year, bro, because I was getting to that point where I wanted to do it constantly. Well, then there you go, bro. Then you got the right idea. You know what I mean? If everybody put themselves in a program, once they realized they were getting to that point, there would be no real drug addicts out there, you know? So you're making the right decisions. You already got a fucking good head on your shoulders. Just don't let it, when you go through stuff, I know, shit you've talked to me about. You go through things like I go through things, and we all do, and you just can't let that drag you down. You can't. That's what I always did to myself. Really, Muzz? Okay, Muzz, can I click on your emails without being hacked? I got to be honest with you. I've opened many of your emails. I'm afraid to reply to email. I am. I'm afraid to because I've been hacked before. I'm afraid to. Don't take that offensively in any way. Don't take offense to that, Muzz. I'm just asking because I worry. No. I'll do it. I'll do it. I worry. I get stressed out. It has nothing to do with you as a person. I'm terrified to reply to an email, no matter who it's from. I feel like shit sometimes because I won't answer emails just because, you know what I mean? I don't know. But I will. Okay, yeah, don't be mad at me, Muzz, please. Muzz has always been good to me. David Lopez, what's up, FBS? Congrats on your sobriety and to all of those who are currently working on sobriety and are sober. Yeah, hell yeah, David Lopez. Thank you, bro. Frank Gerard, Fratello Productions. What do you think, Chris, makes us addicts? Are we born like that? Is it inherited? If a family member has it? I always pondered that question and why we have addictive personalities. Frank, I'll tell you what, man. I don't know. Because there is not a person in my fucking family like me. And I was the least likely to do drugs and alcohol. I was so against it my whole life. I was raised that way. My dad, he might have had a drink a year. My mom, every now and then, she liked to taste a cold beer. She'd have a couple of sips of like a Heineken once a year, maybe at an event or something. My brother had a pretty bad drug problem when he was in his teens, but not anymore. You know, he drinks when he wants to, very rarely and stuff. He never uses any type of drugs. I had an uncle who was an alcoholic, but he wasn't a blood relative. My grandmother loved to drink her Dewar's scotch all day, but never saw her drunk, never saw her go through a withdrawal, never once. When she had a stroke and they checked her out and did all her blood work and stuff, her liver was fine. You know, I don't know. That's what they say. They say, they don't say it's like they'll say it's inherited or it's it gives you, if you have it in your family, you're more prone to addiction. But they don't say that's the only way, So I think it can be, Frank, any of those things you mentioned, or as simple as just deciding to try drugs and alcohol and getting hooked because they're addictive. I think that's what it was with me. Drinking was fun for me because of girls and partying, and it wasn't even so much the partying part. It was girls, I loved getting bitches drunk. I loved it. And I love getting drunk with them. But it's not just that. I'm fucking around a little bit. I used it to treat depression with, to self-medicate. And then when I discovered cocaine, of course I was drunk. I was in my bedroom. I was watching Scarface. I had all this cocaine out because I was already selling coke and I wanted to bag it up. And I decided, fuck it, let me try it. Fell in love with it. Every aspect of it. The whole ritual, chopping it up, snorting it, the drain, the taste, the numbness. I loved it. I was a very unlikely person to become a drug addict, but I turned out to be the only person in my family to become one. I think that's sometimes it's as simple as that. Try something and end up liking it. a little too much. And depending on the drug, you might not have a choice after that. You know, you do dope a few times, and before you know it, you know, it's not an option anymore. You need it. Certain types of pills, you know, all kinds of shit, even alcohol. You know, you drink day and night long enough, all of a sudden you'll wake up one day and realize, oh, this is not a choice I'm making anymore. This is a necessity. I'm going to fucking die if I don't drink. So I don't know, Frank. I wish I had the fucking answer. But I just know that it's a terrible situation that has happened to a lot of us and will continue to happen to people from all walks of life all over the world till the end of time. And I guess all we can do is figure out our own way, figure out how to help ourselves, and then maybe help other people after that, you know? I definitely believe it's inherited. Studies show it can be. Yeah, definitely. I battled it from the age of 14. Crazy. Yeah, man. It's sad. But you're doing well now, Frank. Got to be grateful for that. All I drank was 22 deuces and 40s when I was like 15 to 21. From 25 to now, it's straight whiskey, Henny, Scotch. Yeah, well, you moved up in the world. Those deuces and 40s, they ain't going to cut it no more. Alcohol is the worst thing to self-medicate depression with. Oh, God. Absolutely. I would do anything to stop somebody I know or care about or love from ever using that to self-medicate. Even a stranger. Because that's what I did. And it's the beginning of the end. Yeah, that's what happened with me and Coke FBS. I started out selling it. Then, like you, high off your own supply. Then I was just getting shit on the arm for selling, but doing it all so bad. Shaking my head. Yeah. Phases, man. What do we got? It's 7:03. Let's see. I think of it more like move back in the world, dark, hard liquor. That shit will fuck you up. Oh, yeah, I feel you. My friend went from pills to alcohol because it was cheaper, and she said it's way worse to get off of. I believe it. I never had the pill addiction, at least with painkillers and shit, just benzos. But yeah, alcohol would be worse. Thank you, Brian, and congrats on your 14 years. This can't be wrong. Jason Mike said, FBS, you're like the older brother I never had. I love you, man. No homo. So many things I can relate to you on my own level. Feel the same about you, bro. My young bull. We have chatted with you for years now. Yeah, it's been a long time. It has. I don't know what I'd do without you guys. I really don't. I'd be in a much worse situation. I guarantee that. Hold on. All right. Anyway, guys, I think wait. Oh, I think I'm gonna go now. Jesse's coming on. I'm already 4 minutes into her time. And you know what I did tonight for myself? I bought 2 big fat Delmonico steaks. That's what I did earlier. If I would have known about the Shannon news, I probably wouldn't have splurged on the steaks. But I did. So I got to eat them now, right? And that's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go cook those bitches medium rare, and I'm going to kill them. Oh, Jesse's not coming on now. All right. Well, now I want my steak either way. I prefer feeding booze to sick leprechauns to cure my depression. Oh, Jesse. All right, guys. Thank you for everything. I appreciate you guys always being here with me and for me. And I'll always be here with you guys and for you guys. I promise you that. It's been years, and we have years to come. I'm sure of it. I wouldn't have it any other way. So I'll see you tomorrow on my next regular show, and I'll see you Wednesday at 1 o'clock for my next addiction and recovery show. I love you all, and until next time, salute.